Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the prep work for our pressure-packed rocket lab. We're going to be taking a old film canister. It's used for Fujifilm. It has a special kind of lid that works out perfect for this. And we're going to be creating a large amount of air pressure inside here, much greater than the outside pressure. So the bottom's going to blow off of here, launching this into the air. The problem is, this flat surface is not very aerodynamic, so it will just go into a spin and go any which way. So today, folks, we're going to be doing rocket science. Each person will be taking their pattern and producing their very own rocket from it, so that when you're done, you will have a nice sleeve that will slide over your tube. It must be able to come off and on, so that you can load things up, get this ready to explode, and slide the aerodynamic sleeve on, so that as we look at it this way, we see it'll cut through the air, the fins will provide stability, and so we'll be grading you on rocket science and air pressure. So let me show you how we're going to go about producing our very own special rocket sleeve. Now the first step is to carefully cut out all of the fins, so let me do that. And what we see then is we have the nose cone and the body is now cut out, and the fins are now cut out from your pattern. Okay, you can discard the pattern then, or the leftovers. And here's the first step. Step one, you need to very carefully snip the rounded semicircle off of the body tube, so you now have that rectangle and this part of a circle. Okay, so step one is make sure that the lid is on the down side. Lid is down. You then will carefully wrap the body of the rocket around the tube and make sure it's not super tight, because you want to be able to slide this on. So adjust it a little bit so there's a little bit of play in there, not much but a little, and then you will take some tape and you will tape that on there. Cut off any excess tape. We don't want to load too much tape on this, because the lighter your rocket is, the further it should go. So now see how that sleeve slides right off of there? Watch it now. Watch it. There it is. It slides off. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is to take and make your nose cone. On the dotted line, you will fold it and crease it, and then you will just very simply swirl it around a little bit there and make a nice pointy nose cone so that the cut edge there lines up with the perforated or dotted edge there. There we go. And then you will take and tack that together with just a couple small pieces of tape there and there. So now we have, with a little bit of work, a nice ice cream cone that will then fit right on top of our body tube, like that. Okay? Now we've got to get it to carefully fit on the body tube, so that's where the hot glue gun comes in. Alright, so now we are attempting to put the nose cone on the rocket body and having it, well, stay on. So you will take the hot glue gun, be very careful, it is hot, it is glue, and you will make a ring of hot glue around the upper edge of the body tube. You will then take your nose cone, place it over top of that, and adjust it before the glue sets up so that it's nice and straight, not crooked or off to the side. And there you go. There we have now the nose cone attached to the body tube. Okay? Alright, we now have our nose cone and body tube ready to go, so it'll fly pretty nice, but remember, an arrow and a rocket all need fins sticking out from the side in order to keep it from going into a spin. So now comes the hard part of making the fins. Now what we do is, you see there's a whole bunch of dotted lines there, so we're going to start at the two V's. We fold that in, and now we have a fin. We now take a piece of tape and tape over the top edge of that fin. We then fold it at the other V, and we put a piece of tape at the top edge of that fin. And then we connect the two loose ends, and we put a piece of tape at that slanted top edge of that fin. All right, so now what we need to do is connect and close up the bottom fin. Now you don't want to put any tape inside the little dotted lines there, so we just put a piece of tape right around the bottom edge of that fin, put a piece of tape around the bottom edge of that fin, put a piece of tape around the bottom edge of that fin, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We now have our fins ready, and now what we do is we now slide them up there on the body tube. Now put it so it's got about the same amount of space above the fin as below the fin. And now we need to secure the fins to the body. So we very carefully put a piece of tape right there, and a piece of tape up at the top part. All right, then we will kind of pinch those fins up. See that loose area there? We don't want that, so I'm going to now close up that top gap like that, and then I'm going to put a piece of tape above and a little tiny piece of tape. Notice there's small pieces of tape. We're not using gigantic pieces of tape. We want to keep weight down. We put a piece of tape there. We now need to take and close that up a little bit. Again, we want to have it nice and tight, so we close that up and put a piece of tape above and a piece of tape below, so that the body fins are nicely attached to the rocket sleeve. Keep checking periodically to make sure that'll slide off and on very nicely. All right, now as we look at this, we see there are some gaps still where air could get caught. So as air is coming down here, it might get trapped in that gap or opening. So we simply take small pieces of tape, and however we can, we need to secure now those edges. So we're kind of taping onto the body and onto the fin and pushing the tape down so it's nice and aerodynamic, nice and smooth, and nice and smooth there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We now have a rocket, and again, it'll nice be good for one flight, that you can load this up, get it ready to have a pressure increase. We'll talk about how we do it later. Then you will slide that on quickly, and then you stand back, and voila, as it launches, it should go up in a nice rocket pattern, because you will be graded on how far and how straight your rocket flies. You then, of course, can add your name to it. Make sure you name your rocket. You can decorate it as you wish, but make sure your name is on it, because I will be grading these later on today, and I need to know whose is who. And that essentially is how you make an aerodynamic body sleeve to help your air pressure rocket fly straight and true. All right, good luck.